some new video just into our newsroom. It shows deadly violence on the streets of Cairo. Reports of at least 17 people killed today. Tens of thousands of Muslim Brotherhood supporters are engaging in what they're calling a day of rage. This is in response to a bloody crackdown by the military earlier this week that left more than 600 people dead. Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul is now calling on President Obama to cut off our aid to Egypt, saying in a statement, quote, "While President Obama, quote, condemns the violence in Egypt, his administration continues to send billions of taxpayer dollars to help pay for it. The law is very clear. When a coup d'etat takes place, foreign aid must stop, regardless of the circumstances." With more than 500 people dead and thousands more injured this week alone, chaos only continues to grow in Egypt. So, Mr. President, stop skirting the issue, follow the law, and cancel all foreign aid to Egypt. Doug Bandow is a senior fellow at the Cato Institute, and he joins us now. Hi, Doug.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing well. It seems as though Egypt is reaching a fever pitch today. Why is today so critical for Egypt?
Well, what we're seeing is the strength of the Muslim Brotherhood after the crackdown yesterday. They're showing they still have organization. People are still willing to come out on the streets after hundreds of people have been killed. I think this shows that this is a long-term struggle. The military is not going to sweep these people away. We potentially are going to see months or longer of violence, struggle, potentially terrorism. It's a frightening prospect.
It sure is. And also, the military, as we've learned today, has been authorized to use deadly force if they feel it necessary, to use live ammunition. And it was interesting, I was struck by a report that said the Muslim Brotherhood was instructed to go to Friday prayers and then come out and be prepared for this day of rage. So go pray and then come out with your rage. This is obviously a very combustible combination.
Yeah, we see a real confrontation here. Quite frankly, neither side is particularly liberal. Neither side is particularly friendly to the kind of values America wants. And that's a good reason for us to be out of it, because we can't back a military that's shooting people in the streets, but the Brotherhood is not promoting democratic values either. It's a really bad situation.
So what can the U.S. do? I mean, you say we should stay out of it. Really? I mean, just sit on our hands? Is that what we do as we watch 600 people now be killed?
What we first have to do is recognize we have no leverage. You know, the administration talks as if we control events, but we obviously don't. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this situation. I think it's important for us to step back and make it clear we are not in control. To the extent that we can promote and mediate and get a better solution, let's do so. But we haven't had much success so far. Let's have no illusion about our influence.
Does our $1.5 billion of yearly aid give us any influence? What about what Senator Rand Paul was just saying in that quote that I read, that it's time to cut that off?
Well, he's right. That's what U.S. law requires. So if you care about the law, the president really is required to do so. But the other point is, if they know you're going to give them the money, you have no leverage. We have never cut the money off. What they've discovered is this administration will ignore even U.S. law to keep the money flowing. So why should they pay the slightest attention to us? General Assisi was interviewed by the Washington Post, and he insulted the American people and the administration even while we were funding him. So it shows we have no leverage today unless we're willing to use it and cut it off.
Okay, so I understand why cutting off the money would make us all feel better. Why give money to, why give $1.5 billion to people who disrespect you? But would it change anything over there if we stopped it?
No, but the point is giving it isn't changing anything either. And giving it to a military regime that's shooting people in the streets has a very ugly look to it, especially where U.S. law does require a cutoff. Senator Rand Paul is very correct on this. Administration lawyers apparently came to the same decision, so the administration played kind of a Clinton-esque, well, we don't have to kind of acknowledge the reality, so we don't have to do anything. They are violating law.
Doug, one last issue that's come to light that I want to get your comment on, and that is that Coptic Christians say that they are being targeted in specifically a dozen churches have been targets. They've been burned. Various Christians' homes have been vandalized. Is this because the Morsi supporters really think that the Christians aren't on their side, or is this religious persecution?
Two things are going on. The Coptic Church long has faced persecution. It faced persecution under the Mubarak regime and by the military, and they are being blamed now for taking the sides of the military. They're being targeted by Islamists. It's tragic. It's a real awful situation there, and I'm very concerned where it's going.
Yes, as are we. Doug Bandow, thank you so much for your insight.
Happy to be on.